All right. Good morning. This is probably unable to really hear me, or you might be hearing me, but probably not well because microphone wasn't in front of my face. So, just want to come on this morning. Good morning. This is the All About Nothing podcast kind of daily show. Didn't do any over the weekend. Excuse me. Got some of my, I guess, a little bit of congestion. Didn't do any of these over the weekend because it was busy. Um, it was a lot busier of a weekend than I thought I was going to have. It was well, let's see. I don't know how to describe it, I guess, but we have yeah, I guess I don't know. It's just that time of the year. It is Monday to December the 16th, and I guess I'll just start out with the what's going on with the podcast. We have a episode that dropped today was with Michelle Brandt, who is the third vice chair of the South Carolina Democratic Party, and as well, she is also the candidate for the South Carolina House District 113 down in the Charleston area. That is a special election that's coming up on January the 21st, and it was a really good conversation. It was nice having Michelle back on the show because it's been well over a year. The last time that she was on was in August of 2023. Um, so it was like I said, it was good. It was good to have her back on. She's fun and entertaining, and so it was good. So if you haven't found the show yet, you can go to theallaboutnothing. Let me try that again. You can go to theallaboutnothing.com where you can find links to all of the podcast platforms, all of our social media, everything like that is available at our website. Or you can go to our link tree, which is linktree/ the All About Nothing podcast. You can do that. Um, Last week's episode with friend of the show, Zach Boyd, who is the host of the Welcome Home podcast, as well as the host of the everything that is the social media presence of Famously Garnet, was on with us last week, and that was or was the episode we dropped last week, and that was a great episode. We had a really good time with Zach, and you know, lots of fun conversations about college football and stuff. And I know there are a lot of people out there that they start hearing us talk about college football or sports or whatever, and they go, "Oh," and I get it because there are times where talking about sports is having watched the sports and then talking about the sports is often redundant for me. I don't have to rehash what I've already watched, uh, which to each their own for sure. But it's just sort of the way my personality works. We have we I used to play kickball with this former coworker, and um, I don't know how it happens, but when I play on a sports team, whether it's softball or football or well, not football, whoo, not of my age, but play softball or kickball, team sports like that. I would somehow always get roped into managing the team, and I hated that. I hated managing. I just wanted to show up and somebody tell me where to play. But it was it, I didn't like coaching. I didn't like managing. So I and one of the reasons I didn't like managing and coaching is because when I did, I had this one individual that I worked with, and if we played, it didn't matter whether we did well or we did poorly. The games were on Thursdays, uh, and for that entire week leading up to the next game, this individual would discuss game, the previous game, incessantly. He couldn't stop. He would constantly give suggestions of how to put some players or how to set the batting order or whatever. And it's like we're adults playing kids games. Like that's all it is. Hey, that's weird. Sorry, that was weird. One of the people that joined is uh my wife's first name, my first name, and then I don't know the numbers, but that was odd. It distracted me. It threw me off. So, but he would talk about the previous game just from like the day, the day after the game until the day of the next game, and I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't deal with it. It was awful. So, and our kickball team was decent at times and poor at others. I think one season we were undefeated all the way up until the championship, and then we lost the championship. That was during COVID. Yeah, we still played kickball during COVID because the idea was is that we were playing distantly from each other, but in truth, it was that they had us wearing masks on the field, breathing heavily, playing kickball. So yeah, whatever. Really, they were covered because they made us sign a waiver. There was no potential of them being held responsible for anything. So, oh, what else? I think the only thing that I really wanted to discuss this morning, just quickly, was give sort of an opinion on the ABC settlement to Donald Trump for $16 million, $15 million to go to a museum slash library, and then an additional million for, I guess, his inauguration. And it's it, it's another little funny thing. Um, so the whole situation came and how because so for I guess it'll get really confusing if I don't start out with, let me just say nothing ever went to depositions. uh, ABC did not get to, their lawyers did not get to depose Donald Trump or anyone involved in the E. Jean Carroll case. Excuse me. Didn't get to collect any evidence on anything. But last week, ABC and Disney settled for $15 million on a defamation case that Donald Trump sued them for, because George Stephanopoulos used the R word, rape, multiple times in the newscasts in which he was talking about the E. Jean Carroll case. And based on my readings, the uh, either the judge in the case or the judge in there was a judgment, or I guess there was a ruling or a decision that that the R word, the R word, was legitimate in this case because that's essentially what they found him to do, that Trump had done to E. Jean Carroll. And ultimately, it doesn't really make any difference. I mean, if even if you know, the likelihood is that Donald Trump will be able to get into office, and if he hasn't already been criminally forgiven for the things that he has either been found guilty of or was under investigation for, the likelihood is that he's going to walk away clean anyway. Um, as president, he can pardon himself. Apparently, didn't know that was a thing until the last 8 years, 9 years. But he can pardon himself for any potential crimes he has committed. He can um, convince the Supreme Court to take up cases that aren't necessarily federal cases, but they can take up, say, the Georgia case against him or the Arizona cases against him. He can get those moved up to the Supreme Court where they can render a decision in his favor, and then those go away. Um, and so, not to get too far off to the subject, but the idea that uh, that someone who committed crimes, that has, and whether you believe that his trials were fair or not, he was convicted. He is currently, regardless of his status as president elect, he is a convicted felon. Even if he pardons himself, he will forever have been a convicted felon. That status will never change. He will potentially, he's an adjudicated convicted felon. And whether or not he is pardoned for the, the adjudicated felonies doesn't make any difference. He will always have that title. He will be in the history books. He will be the president. I mean, if they still write history books, and they may still write them, will they let the kids see them or read them? He will forever be the 34-time convicted president of the United States. um, and there's nothing that will change that, I guess, unless the history books are written by, well, and the history books are written by the ones that win. Donald Trump won, so maybe he gets to write his own history books. Oh, well, I don't even know why I'm saying that. Of course, he writes his own history books. They're in crayon. So there is speculation that ABC went ahead and paid this uh, settlement, or is in the process of paying it, so that it gets them in good graces with the president elect. And that $15 million to not have uh, Kash Patel's FBI coming after them for different, I don't know, issues that he's going to use the FBI to investigate media. Maybe $15 million is worth that. I mean, Jeff Bezos paid $1 million towards his inauguration fund. Now, it's not unheard of that companies, corporations, individuals will pay money towards the inauguration fund, because the inauguration isn't something that should fall on the tax dollars. That should not fall as a burden on our tax dollars. Inauguration is not a necessity, and so it's not, that's why they look for donations. Um, so it's not unheard of to have a Jeff Bezos or a Mark. Um, oh, geez, what the guy from Meta, Facebook. It's not unheard of to have people pay, money towards the inauguration of a president. Um, it's just a little suspect the way that it all is sort of happening, because for all of it to be occurring at the same time is an interesting situation, in the fact that there are individuals out there that are afraid that a Trump administration justice system will come after them. Not necessarily for something that they've done, but maybe for something that, in a Facebook situation, something that a user has said on Facebook, or that a news source has used Facebook to push information about about something that could be potentially not great, and then that organization has to face the reins of the justice system coming in to try and potentially investigate something like that, and then they have it. It could just become a whole mess. So I think in some situations, I think Meta and Amazon, Washington Post, and all of these news organizations, um, I think that a lot of them are trying to get in good graces, and that's their business. They can do what they want. And if they feel like that's going to make them safe from the wrath of a Trump Cash Patel venge fest, then let them do it. Um, the likelihood is that it won't protect them. That if something goes south, that any previous uh, gifts to the president elect will be forgotten, and because that's what us old people do, we forget. Why am I here? What am I doing? Who am I? Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at. So I'm gonna wrap this up for this morning. Um, so go check out the latest episode, theallaboutnothing.com. Michelle Brandt is our guest this week. She again is the third vice chair for the Democratic Party here in South Carolina. She also is the candidate for South Carolina's House District special election for House seat uh, 113 down in Charleston. You can go to her website to find information or to make donations to her campaign. It is Michelle FOR sc.com. So it's Michelle4sc.com. Michelle FORSC.com. There you can find all the information about her campaign. Special elections coming up in January. So if you have not check your voter registration, you can do that at our webpage. You can go to theallaboutnothing.com/voter, and you can verify your voter registration there. But yeah, so the special elections coming up in just over a month for House seat 113 in Charleston. Michelle is a fantastic candidate. She is a fantastic person, uh, and absolutely will represent the district very well if when she's elected. So do that. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. If you've been watching, thank you, and we'll probably do a few more of these between now and the end of the year because we are recording our last episode this Wednesday for the year. Also, sorry, real quick, just put it out there. ZJZdesigns.com. You can check out brand new t-shirt, sweatshirt, apparel designs, as well as gifts and things like that. You can check that out, ZJZdesigns.com. Terrific prints to wear to Christmas parties and things like that. She's also got some New Year's stuff out there, and I'm trying to convince her to do some other shirts that I think would probably sell pretty well. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Check out ZJZdesigns.com. Also, Everplay Sports and Social here in Columbia, South Carolina, is signing up for bowling, winter bowling. That the sign up for that ends on December 20th or December 21st. I think it's December 20th. So go and sign up for that, because if you don't, it is going to sell out and there won't be any room. So get in on it now. Everplaysocial.com. So that's going to do it. Everybody, you all stay safe, be kind, and keep your hands to yourself.